From a homeschool child's perspective, in hindsight, what stands out as key things parents may want to be aware of for their child? This is the third part of my three-part video series on homeschooling, where we've talked about transitioning from public school to homeschool. And in this final part, my daughter, now in her 20s, shares key takeaways from a homeschooled child's perspective on what really worked well. Hey, I'm Kathleen Rumford, software developer and entrepreneur who turned into a homeschooling mom for 15 years of two daughters. To make sure you don't miss any of my videos, please subscribe to my channel. By you liking, commenting, and/or subscribing, you're telling YouTube that this was valuable and they'll push it out to help more homeschoolers. So let's dive right in. Kayla, to round things out, what are a couple key takeaways or insights you can share with your perspective as a homeschool child that might be helpful to homeschooling parents?
My advice to a parent coming from a child who was homeschooled is take full advantage of co-ops. That's the highlight. When I think back of homeschooling, there's a lot of highlights, and I do have highlights at home too, like a lot of read aloud time with my mom and sister, cooking our lunch and pretending to be a cafeteria. Like, I have lots of fond memories of the in-home stuff, but overall, when I sing the praises of homeschooling, it's all of the co-op time, all of the field trips we were able to go on, and almost like you create your community. When your kid goes to school, you don't know your child's classmates other than occasional play dates, maybe that the parents arrange, or occasional like birthday party. But when you homeschool, you get to you get to be so involved in your child's community because all the parents are there. So you get parent community, you get parent peers, which is really nice as a parent, but you're also so much more involved in your child's friend groups, and like, you know them by name, they know you by name. It's just like a lot more probably how it used to be in the olden days of like really having that quote unquote village, really having that community built into your child's schooling. So take full advantage of co-ops is one thing I would say. Or create, like, if big co-ops don't exist in your area, or if the big co-ops that do exist don't really kind of speak to your homeschooling style, or you don't necessarily vibe with them, you don't have to do big co-ops. You can start forming your own small co-ops. In fact, the co-ops that I see existing now are more of the big ones, but when we were homeschooling, a lot of the co-ops we did were a lot smaller, like 4 families doing science together, rather than there being a big overarching science co-op. I don't know. So if you're feeling like, this video is telling me that co-ops, this girl who was homeschooled is telling me that co-ops are the answer, but all of the co-ops that we've tried, we haven't vibed with. Create your own co-ops, create your own little learning pods. They don't even have to be called co-ops. But that was essential for me as being such a social person, being able to still have all of those social experiences. And I'm sure it was cool for my mom to then be able to be part of them too. I don't know, just really tight knit. So like, that's what I've already started to create for my daughter, who's only 3. So we're not doing schooling yet, but we have already started forging those communities. So I have like a toddler co-op that we do with her every other week, and different events for those friend groups essentially that we're starting to bring together even before we're doing the schooling aspect. And then the other thing would be that with all the free time that you're going to have, that your child's going to have, encourage them in their hobbies. So I'm now a linguist, and so I do a lot with languages and bilingualism. I know my mom mentioned Spanish being a huge part of her reason to want to homeschool, and my Spanish class, going back to the whole idea of social, my Spanish class was one of my favorite things that we did throughout the entire homeschool experience. My 3rd grade, I think we started in 3rd grade with Mrs. Zuniga, and she was really fun, and the whole experience of having the same classmates every year and doing skits in Spanish and cooking classes in Spanish and making piñatas out of paper mache, it was a highlight. But what I wanted to say is that because now I'm a linguist, that was always one of my interests and passions, and then even hobbies, beyond the schoolwork of learning languages or beyond reading about different linguists, which we did, which I'll talk to in a second. But my hobby was making my own languages. I know, super nerdy, but I would create my own languages, and not just like a couple code words. No, I would have like full-on structures. It's actually called conlanging, which I didn't know at the time, but conlang is a constructed language. And I was, as like an 11-year-old, creating conlangs, which, by the way, is people have that as their full-time job. And so I don't do that as my full-time job, the conlanging aspect, but my full-time job is as a linguist now. So I was able to hone in on those passions, hobbies, which then turned into my career as a kid, and loved every second of that. Having the free time to be able to really develop those passions is something that's just not as available if you're spending so many hours a day in school and homework on top of that. So really encourage your child to pursue those passions as they're developing. And if they end up like kind of hitting a dead end and being like, yeah, that was fun for a while, but I'm over it, that's still okay. They were still able to grow so much and do so much personal development by pursuing that hobby while it lasted. The other thing I wanted to say about the linguistics aspect, my mom knew that. My mom knew that I was like very into languages, gifted with language, and so she was able to then even tailor our curriculum throughout all of homeschool years to really emphasize that. We read a lot of books about linguists and the work that they would do. She had me take a Greek class in high school. We did Latin, we did Spanish. And again, she saw that that was part of something that was really passionate, or that I was really passionate about, and was able to bring that into our curriculum. My sister, she can talk probably also on another video, but she was really into fashion. So if you ask her what she would do in her hours of free time that she had after doing schoolwork, she did a lot of drawing and fashion designing in her little sketchbooks. Even as like a 6-year-old, she had sketchbooks full of designing, and that's what she does as her career now too, is she works in the fashion industry. So there's just so much that you can bring into your child's curriculum based on their passions, their learning styles, and you can just really tailor everything for your family and for your kids by playing such an active role in their education.
So co-ops for learning in a social environment and time for hobbies and interests were the 2 key takeaways from Kayla's homeschool years. She has lots more to talk about, and I'm sure I'll have her back on, maybe in video form rather than audio. And if interested, I touch more on both of these topics of co-ops and hobbies in my video series on Should I Homeschool My Child and How Homeschooling Saves Time. I sure hope this 3-part series was helpful to you. But before you check out the other videos shown here, if you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comment section below. And if you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss other videos related to homeschooling, parenting, and personal finance literacy for kids. Until next time, take care and God bless.